We're going to start live streaming now too, just to make sure everybody knows.
Somewhere in here, it's two left off the space.
Oh, into a contract. Okay. Yep.
Say anything, but
I will check.
yeah, that's an easy
Appreciate it.
adjustment.
Send Rich Russo the link. We'll give him a second to join. That it's Mr. Martin's show. Yeah. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Rich.
Hey guys, how are you? I don't have it on my I don't have it on my Surface, so I'm on my phone. Sorry.
That's fine.
All right, thanks for holding, guys. I don't, David. I'm gonna have to rely on you because I don't have the email. So I'll call to order the September Land Bank meeting. I appreciate everyone's attendance. I hope all are doing well, and I know we've got some material to cover today. So with that said, first order of business is typically our Treasury report. Yes?
Now the approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the minutes were sent out. Can I get a motion to approve, or if there's any questions, dialogue?
Second.
Thank you. The motion is approved. The minutes are moved into the record. Second order of business, I believe, should be the treasurer's report. Yeah, I still don't have this link.
I just sent it to you again, Rich. I sent you at 4:13 to the.
Yep. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. It just came.
Okay. Actually, the next order of business is I just, per our bylaws, whenever there's an executive committee meeting, in between the land bank board meetings, we just report out on what was decided. So on the executive committee, we met August 11th, we communicated August 11th, 2021. Both of these awards were related to the Wallingford Park Splash Pad. It's the project that the city and the Foundation is funding us to administer. The award for Dave's Plumbing and Heating to run a water line and a sewer line to the splash pad was for $15,000. He was the low bid. And Happy Electric was the low for the electric. He was around $4,500. The only change with that, with Happy Electric, we have been working with the National Grid planner, and they want us to come from a pole that's farther down than the pole that we'd assume they'd have us come from, just because of interference with Verizon and some of the other things on the poles. So that will end up being a little bit more, but all this is going to be reimbursed by the Schenectady Foundation. So that was the executive committee report. Let me know if there's any questions related to those actions.
No questions from me. Anyone else on the line? I don't think we don't need to move this or anything, right? That's just an advisory report on what we did in the executive committee, correct?
We'll add it to the minutes.
Okay. If there's no questions, then we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Joe?
You have a copy of the balance sheet and the rest of the information. We have been spending money, not at a great rate, considering it's the summer, but we are still spending money. And so our balance that we have left, as you can see, is just under $1.5 million. That is a slight decrease from where we were last year, but we replenished some of the funds. Amsterdam has spent almost no money during the 3 months. But that's going to change with the resolutions that we have today.
Okay.
That's basically it, unless somebody has a question.
Yeah, no, appreciate the quick synopsis. Any questions on any of the properties or on what our key balances are in our accounts?
I would just add, when you look at admin 4, that is the remaining enterprise funding. So there's approximately $130,000 remaining. Those are tied to our habitat projects that, they continue to move along up on First and Orchard and on Ferry Street. Enterprise is aware of the delays that have occurred because of a long period of time without getting outside volunteer groups on the properties. And they're committed to us seeing these projects through, even if it goes past December 31st, which, based on Habitat's last report, they expect it to go into winter.
I do have one. Thank you, David. I appreciate that clarification. I do have one question. I see that Amsterdam's account is actually in a negative balance in terms of net income. Does that make sense to you guys? They had a little more expense than I guess they had of revenue, right, or asset value. So they're actually negative right now. Is that just an accounting thing, and I don't need to worry about that? Or?
Yeah, it's January 2019 through August 2021. So Amsterdam, you still have $200,000 in your account. A lot of that money had hit the account prior to that, sold the one property that was renovated, and then we received some small grants from it was the Neighborhood Community Stabilization Trust transactions.
Okay.
Yes, with all of these, we'll be spending down our resources, moving forward, in hopes we'll receive additional resources. But the plan is to start spending down on these assets.
Okay.
And which the danger is looking at that revenue and expense by class for the year, for a 2-year period of time. Because the total there says we ought to hit $900,000. Yet when we look at the full picture, we're at 1.496 million. So it's a matter of the balance sheet is the better thing to be able to look at as to how much money is available for the divisions, meaning administration, Amsterdam, and Schenectady.
Thanks, Joe.
If there are no questions, I'll move the report.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rich. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Great. The report is moved to the record. Thank you. Okay. I do have the packet in front of me. Chairman's report for the month of August. So probably a little bit of a repeat coming out of last month, but activities going on with demolition and/or, excuse me, with DePaul Properties and their demolition. We're going to talk about a little bit of that, some of the demolition activities that are going on in Amsterdam now, but DePaul is moving forward. We've talked about that a couple of times. That project is staying on track in Amsterdam. That's a great gateway project for that community. So, Bob, I'm happy that that's moving along in your neck of the woods. The DePaul project manager or vice president of community development was in Schenectady. David, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, David and I attended a neighborhood outreach, and that was with respect to the Crane Street project, in which DePaul is proposing a large multi-unit and a complete redevelopment. You guys have seen that plan. So they were there. David and I were present. We both spoke, or all of us spoke. I think the community was very much appreciative of this particular project. I think they were appreciative of DePaul's sensitivity to how to develop a project in the community. And so I feel like that's probably a good opportunity for them, and hopefully we'll be successful in DePaul moving forward with that, with their funding and securing all the necessary approvals to move that project forward. We did have Maurice from housing there, from city housing. So, Schenectady, the city of Schenectady's housing coordinator. So that was, an important aspect, right? He's part of those conversations and part of the bigger picture. So that was a good thing. Eastern Avenue, I know that City Council and Kristen and the whole team worked hard to move some CBG funds over for BNI. And that whole, larger project of Eastern Avenue, that activity is still in process, but continuing effort in the Eastern Corridor, focusing effort on the Crane Street Corridor, focusing effort in the Amsterdam Western Gateway, if you will, from a Schenectady perspective, Eastern Gateway from an Amsterdam perspective. And so we're continuing to move strongly, continue to do what we said we would do with respect to neighborhood development and engaging at a deeper level that goes beyond housing and demolitions and renovations. Cocoa House project moving along. The architects rendering, the movement, the acquisition of the properties, all that's coming to bear. Will Rivas continues to do a great job out there with, touching the community, engaging the community, and wanting to see the success of those around him and the entire neighborhood that he is in. I was disappointed to hear that a parcel right around the corner from him was sold. I thought that was kind of maybe a bigger picture was in play there. I think he put a bid in on something that was Sura owned, and someone else bid more and sold the house, or the house was sold to the highest bidder, which I was surprised at, because I guess I probably have an assumption, but I would assume that I think that property was abandoned or vacant for quite some time, and he had a bigger plan. And next thing you know, somebody else was, bidding, and that's just the way it works, right? High bid wins, but that's an unfortunate outcome. But he's pretty positive about the commitment. That was going to be the Entrepreneur Center, so he's just going to find another property to put that in. I think there might be something across the street, and they'll continue to move forward. So I have a lot of faith, and I'm very happy to hear, his resolve, if you will, in staying committed to, the bigger vision that Cocoa House has. And I think that they make a real difference in our community. Sorry, I want to make sure my phone was plugged in. And then finally, dollars and cents. I've asked my colleagues and I've asked the city to strongly consider the impact that the land bank has in our greater community. Bob, I haven't asked Mayor Cinquante yet, but I know he's supportive, certainly, of the land bank. But I've asked the city and my county colleagues, as I've said, for a fairly significant amount of funding going into the next 3 to 5. Everyone has rescue funds. Everyone recognizes that the neighborhoods are an important aspect of community stability and community success. And so I will, announce when the time comes those dollars that I've asked for. It goes substantially beyond what we've been receiving from the county of Schenectady over the last 5 years. Thank you very much, Kathy, and thank you very much, County Manager Fluman, because I believe that we've shown that we can 10x just about any investment that we get when it comes to leveraging the dollars that we get into the land bank coffers and how we can leverage that activity in our community. So we'll see where that goes. And then finally, partially, Habitat for Humanity, working hard, working strong. Their construction manager, you guys probably already know, but their construction manager is going away. I don't know, and David, maybe you can just give me a quick response once you move to executive report or executive director's report, but I don't know that they found anybody yet. That was a strong construction manager for them. So if there are applicants, maybe Bob Martin, maybe you know some folks that might be interested, or if any of us do, I'm sure Madeline Thorne would be very grateful for a referral to potential candidates that might want to be the construction manager at Habitat. So that's all I have for the chairman's report for August.
I did speak with Madeline yesterday or the day before, and I believe that they did find someone for the position.
Oh, great to hear.
I'm not
Kristen.
sure
Thank
of the
you.
name, but I know that they were interviewing people, and she let me know that they would be starting like very soon. So
Oh, great. Okay. Well, it doesn't hurt to have a backup to a backup. But thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that up-to-date report. I was worried about, sometimes when you lose critical staff, obviously everyone knows what that's like. It's a challenge. So thank you.
yeah, I think just to add on that, from what she was saying, it seemed like this person has a lot of like construction management skills. So she's I think she's excited about the kind of office management side of it. So not only do they understand construction, but instead of being out in the field so much on all of the jobs, they'll also have the expertise to do some of the like back of house management that's necessary. So she's excited about that.
Yeah, that's critical. And that's good to hear. Obviously, at Habitat, everyone wears lots of hats. So good to have a utility player. Excellent. Thank you for the update. Okay, any questions for me? If not, we'll move to David's executive director report.
Yeah, I'll just add, so James Chakakis is the Habitat construction manager, and a lot of the funding that we have set aside in our account right now, we owe largely due to his professional and hardworking management that he did with Habitat. I'm just thinking of 78 Oakdale property that we got as a bank foreclosure that we transformed with Habitat and their assistance. 760 Eastern, which is we just sold over to Habitat, and they have a new homeowner, first-time homeowner lined up who will be moving into that home. There was Pennsylvania Avenue, I think it was 906 Pennsylvania, the one that Mark placed a little piece on that we were doing work up there, which went to a first-time homeowner. So he's really going to be missed. He was a great part of that team, and I did talk to Madeline. I'm glad that they have people lined up, but we will certainly miss James. So just also want to make sure everyone's aware. So the Eastern Renaissance Square, they're doing their ribbon cutting on the 21st at 1 p.m. I don't remember if I sent that invitation out, so I'll send it out again. Hope that you can all make it. It should be a really nice event. If you haven't been through the building yet, I'm sure they'll probably do some tours, considering COVID, but really it will be a nice event, and it's done so much to transform the Eastern Avenue corridor. We did just complete the 105 Irving demolition in preparation to remove the rest of the light around there. That's been backfilled and completed by Crystal Demolition, so that's exciting as well. And I would have to say that really excited to move forward with some Amsterdam projects today. You guys have been patient, but I think we found some nice opportunities, and the mayor has been very helpful, and as has the Amsterdam Advisory Committee in identifying ways they can help the land bank there. So unless there's any other questions, I think that's you'll see we still got a lot going on.
Absolutely. Okay, well, with that said, I'm having a technology problem today, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, we have 7 items for consideration tonight, this afternoon. I appreciate everyone's support of each one of these. First one up is 929 Crane Street. It's resolution 2021-18. It's a property conveyance. David, can you summarize?
Yeah, Joe and I talked about this already. I called it a vacant lot, but there's technically still a garage that is back there. The garage is in disrepair, needs a new roof structure. This building was leaning over towards El Dorado a few years ago. We demolished it as our light removal efforts in Mount Pleasant. The owner, Mr. Munir K. Mohammed, of the El Dorado had long expressed interest in purchasing it, but we really wanted to be as part of a greater transformation of the corridor. His desire to agree to work with the New York State Main Street program, which will do a complete facade improvement of his building. You see there to the right, opening up the bottom floor windows to be more open and visible, bringing more light in. New windows, new siding, painting the siding on the side. That's a great improvement. Consideration of that, I'd love to transfer the lot over to him. He put an offer for $800. I think that's fair, especially considering his investment that he's making next door, which is again using the New York Main Street program. Metroplex is providing some assistance there, and he is making an equity investment of over $23,000.
That's great. It's exactly the kind of project, catalyst that we want, right? Someone sees the opportunity to be able to expand, improve their business, making their own investments in that business. It seems to me to be a good initiative. Can I get a motion to move it?
I'll move.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
I don't know if I heard everybody, but I'll assume everyone's an aye. So the motion is moved to convey 929. Thank you very much.
This is directly across from the DePaul Crane Street site as well. So it's all very, and then you can actually see the first one, we did 944 Crane as well. So corridor is starting to change.
Yeah, good project. Okay, next item up is a resolution 2021-19, another conveyance. It's 108 DeGraff Street. David, could you provide a similar summary?
Yeah, a real early demolition that we did. I think we took this in 2014. We've provided flyers to neighbors over the years. Mr. Dobby, who actually lived there for 15 or 16 years. The blue building on the right, you'll see from the picture. He approached us with an offer to purchase it for $1,000. Nice little plan, which would include a fence out front, putting in, you can work with 3 trees connected, get a few trees put in the front. And you would look at the back that there's some older trees, brush and dead trees. Free to remove that as well. I originally put in the resolution that we would, the memo that we would instruct them how to request the city of Schenectady to combine the vacant lots. Joe indicated that he thinks we should require it. I'm okay with that. It just gets into a part about making sure that they're following up and doing what they need to do, but we can certainly require him to combine it with his property at 106 DeGraff, and like to move this to get it back on the tax roll.
Move it.
Let me,
Amendment.
just a clarifying question. So we're saying that we are not requiring it, but we can, if the board decides as such?
I'm suggesting that we require it, and the reason, David and I were talking about this, we've had other properties come where they should have been done and they weren't done, and they've caused problems in the future. It may not He may not do it because we don't have the staff to be able to monitor it. But at least if somebody comes back, we did what is the right thing, and that is said that he had to do it.
The one thing I would add is that, through the years we've been doing this, we don't always go and get title reports, because, it's not really important to what we're doing. And we've obviously gotten to a process of, really accessing the city's properties. This is one that was taken before I was here. My concern would be requiring him to combine them, if there are any title issues that come up with the property. So, I just thought about that separately. I don't know what the title looks like this. I'm assuming that things are fine, but I would have to come back to the board if he said, yes, I do want to continue to purchase this, but I can't combine it with my home.
What is I should have listened clearer. In previous situations, we've run into that where maybe the title created, a challenge to combine. Have we mandated combining parcels prior in previous conveyances?
I don't remember us doing that.
I don't remember. We always encourage it. I don't think mandate is something that we've done all the time. But, I think we'd like to see him do it. But, I certainly would understand if, there's an old lien or something on the property that he still wants to take it, but, might not want to combine it with his house. Just a technicality to think about,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Kristen, do you want to weigh in at all on that in terms of city position or just?
I think it
No?
makes sense what David was saying. I'm not sure I have anything to add.
That's fine. I recognizing your role within the city, then I think we move the resolution as it stands, with a strong encouragement to combine. Clearly, it makes for easier administration. Maybe it makes for more valuable property, but it's really upon the owner to figure that out. He's gonna have to pay
And
two
we
tax
do- we-
bills.
Yeah, we definitely do encourage it, just to say from the city's perspective, whenever we have vacant lots, we actually try to coordinate and send letters to the adjacent owners and, help them through the process of combining the lots. So,
Okay. Any other comment? Hearing none, resolution 2021-19. Can I get a motion to move?
I moved it.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is moved. Thanks, everyone. Okay, next motion, resolution rather, 2021-20. It's authorization to sell 1009, 1011 Strong Street and amend our general project plan. David, could you summarize?
We come back to this again, and I did not include any changes because this is really just a technicality here. So where we left it originally, we were going to be renovating this project, and we were taking city funds and our funds. We moved away from that when we found out the foundation issues. We agreed to say to the contractor, hey, we're going to demolish this. If you want to keep going forward and renovating it, don't charge us for anything that you've done. With roughly $20-something thousand worth of work. And you can have it for $1, and we'll move our money on to a different project, which is 110 Prospect, which is underway. So the contractor was fine with that. It's his son is the first-time homeowner who he was going to set him up with his first home. And we got to thinking. I said, look, if your son is mortgage qualified, there's some programs out there which he can use, which provide grant resources. And it also sets up, your business, so you're not just taking on all the costs yourself. So I connected them with one of the teams that does the Sunny Neighborhood Revitalization Program. Jonathan did qualify for a mortgage. It was determined that he would be comfortable taking out a $60,000 mortgage, which would allow his father's contracting business to recoup some of the cost. We're kind of a intermediary here where for the mortgage, he has to buy the property from us for that amount. So he's agreed to buy the property for $60,000. And then the $60,000, we would agree to enter into contract with the contractor for that amount, which would really close out his contract. So this was a suggestion of M&T Bank, who we are working with, of how best to handle this. That $60,000 mortgage will actually be a $40,000 mortgage for Jonathan at the end of the day, because the $20,000 ends up being first time, a down payment assistance. We had this resolution in place. The contractor was still moving forward the project at his own risk, as we've owned it. The way that using the money for first-time homeowners, for down payment assistance works is that he needs a CO on the project at the end of the day. And so we would hold the property until the CO or an equivalent, whatever Sunny Mae needs, is there. He would take out the mortgage. We would close on it for $60,000. That money would then go to the contractor. I think it's a win-win for all parties, and I'd appreciate your consideration.
Any questions?
Just a quick question. David, so how much at the end of the day, I got a little lost. How much at the end of the day did we are we net putting into the building?
Yeah, we have not put in any additional resources beyond the abatement of the property. So nothing has changed from our first amendment. We abated the property.
Okay.
And it's all in contracting, and then we have not made any other payments since then. And this will be it nuts out. We will have closing expenses with our attorney, but that is it.
Okay, thanks.
David and I talked about this too, but David, just one thing suddenly came up. Does this meet because of the $60,000 bidding procedures?
We have an existing contract with him that he was working off of.
So you're using that?
Work. I would
Okay.
close out the contract and say, we have received this. I will work with our attorneys how to best.
Yeah, you understand why I'm concerned. I don't want somebody coming back. I agree that this is a good deal to do, but I just don't want us to have a legal issue, somebody else come back.
And as he's continued to do work, he had already had a permit taken out on the property. He'd already provided us insurance. Well, we told him that, we were telling him no more activity because, we're not paying on any additional activity. I felt comfortable if he wanted to keep going, to let him keep going.
Move the resolution.
So can we move the resolution? Do I have a motion?
Yeah,
So moved.
Very good. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Oh, great. The motion is moved. Thank you very much. It is a good deal for us. I think it's a good project, and it's a win-win, as David already pointed out. Thank you very much. Okay. Next item. Demolition project for the city of Amsterdam. This is resolution 2021-21. Large investment in demolitions, helping Amsterdam with some matching funds. I think there are 12 or 13 projects identified. David, could you summarize with detail?
Yep, the city had approached us with the idea that they wanted to invest $500,000 in funding towards a demolition program. Asked if, because Nick and I, and actually Bob Martin, have discussed how best to use our resources, Amsterdam-specific resources moving forward. We discussed with them that we felt $100,000 was a good number, which also allowed us to have some additional resources to continue to utilize Nick over the next year, hopefully to move forward projects like Legacy Cities or anything else that comes available. The city has put the project out to bid. My understanding is that they were supposed to open it this week. They delayed it a week over some technicality issues the contractors brought up, but they'd like to move forward with how many properties they can afford. You'll see Nick broke it down into their top priorities, second and third priorities. So I think their goal is to just take as many as they can with $600,000. Appreciate your support to allow us to contribute $100,000 towards that effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Amsterdam's got great momentum, lots of activity. Exactly, they're taking the necessary steps to continue to drive investment. Bob, Martin, any other comments or follow-ups that you need?
No, it sounds, it's got my full support, so I would
Great.
move.
Would you like to move it?
Yep. So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Aye. Great project. Thank you very much, Bob, and thank you, David. Okay, let's see. Next item is 2021-22. This is going to be another cooperation agreement. David, could you summarize?
Yeah, staying in Amsterdam. So I did send you over an amended board memo. We've just been going back and forth on some of these properties. So this Legacy Cities Access Program was how the state put together the $20 million that the legislature approved in the last year's budget for land banks. Into this program that is looking to return 1 to 3 unit properties to home ownership opportunities. They give preference to small developers and or specifically minority-owned developers. Idea of taking about 5 to 10 properties, pulling them into a project. They can provide gap financing per unit, gap grant resources per unit of $90,000 that gets tied into a community preservation corporation mortgage. It's a project. The land banks have had a little bit of difficulty pivoting towards this. A lot of people, like we have really been focusing on removing blight, small projects with Habitats for Humanities and others, and then looking for the large affordable tax credit projects. So it took a little bit of a time to identify the right developers who might be interested. We do have a minority developer based in the Schenectady County area who's expressed interest in the project in Amsterdam. Also, Nick and I have worked to try to see if we can identify anyone from Amsterdam. We haven't yet. Bob, Martin, if you know anyone, these properties aren't tied to anyone yet. But what we did is we asked the city of Amsterdam if they were interested. They said these were strong candidates for renovation. Our goal is to enter into an agreement with the city of Amsterdam to allow us to access the properties, take ownership of the properties at a nominal value, which they agreed to. Advisory committee for us has also agreed to and liked it, with the idea that we pull together a project to fit within this funding program. So our role as the land bank in this is really to just help organize the project and get paid on the sale of property. And the way that you do that in our conversations with Community Preservation Corp and New York State is that we can usually we're looking to identify a project that maximizes that $90,000 a unit, meaning that we can go around and sell some property into the portfolio at a gain for us, which will bring more resources for us to do more work in Amsterdam. So, for example, 53 Arnold Avenue, we get it for $1. They need $70,000, or excuse me, $80,000 per unit. It's a 2-unit. We say, great, we'll sell it for $20,000. We maximize the grant resources there, and we set the project up, and then set us up for future success. So that's how it would work. Early stages here. The developer we're talking to is also the same woman who's done some work here in Schenectady, and she's interested in the Barrett and South Ave corner, Amsterdam. So we'll continue to identify other developers who may be interested in this here in Amsterdam or in Schenectady, and this is just our first take at it.
Another great project, exactly where, we'd like to see. I mean, we've done this kind of momentum building in this using an access agreement, using a finance partner, and now to move that footprint and that momentum, the footprint into Amsterdam in order to build momentum for continued activity. As you said, now we'll get the dollars that'll feed into the Amsterdam account. That'll drive more development, Obviously, with additional demolition going on, that helps to open the spaces in which maybe some of these legacy city projects can occur and or coalesce around. So really excited to see Amsterdam now. I know we've always benefited from land bank activity, but I really see rubber hitting the road now between the DePaul, a big demo, and now community preservation stepping in order to help finance community-focused developers. I was very impressed with the developer when I met her, and I'm excited for there to be some success and this turn into more development, more investment in our sister city in Amsterdam. Any questions?
Again, like you said, more good news for Amsterdam. I support this resolution,
Absolutely. You want to move it?
and I will move the resolution.
And a second, please.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Another great project. Thank you.
The developer that we've been working with, Pam Swanigan, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we connected her with Enterprise Community Partners, who we did a specific grant for minority-based developers getting some assistance in pre-development work, and she was awarded approximately $3,000 to help her bring in a construction manager, kind of take it to the next level. So, it's not someone who's just coming in without any resources to look at this stuff. So it's good stuff.
Exactly foots to what we talked about maybe a year ago, a little less about how do we change, how we do, what's our mission, how do we modify our mission to meet our mission goals, and I'm very happy that we're moving in that direction. We have one more item, right?
Two more actions for the same property.
2021-20-23 and 2021-24, which is a general project plan of the trailways. Yes, great. Go ahead, David, if you can summarize taking down the bus station.
Sure. So, 22 State Street, the former Trailways building, Metroplex is purchasing it. Land banks have been provided, specific benefits in New York State. We don't pay for the Department of Labor fees for demolition, for abatement, demolition if there's asbestos. This is what we do. We have a good relationship with all the demolition contractors. So Metroplex asked us if we'd be interested in overseeing the demolition with them providing funds to pay for it. In consideration of that, we went out and we asked for quotes in accordance with our procurement policy for abatement and demolition. I separated it because we have been getting some abatement firms in particular who are interested in our work that they might not work with some of the larger demolition companies. So with these one-off projects, it provides some opportunity for them. And we ended up getting quite a few quotes from both abatement and demolition contractors. The low for abatement was Greater Environmental. They just completed our work at Prospect and over at the Cocoa House. It's a minority-owned, Schenectady-based, minority-owned asbestos abatement company. And the lowest demolition quote was from Dan's Hauling Demo, we've worked with as well in the past. Those quotes were $25,000 and then $19,800. The two actions include 2021-23, which is entering into an access and funding agreement with Metroplex. Metroplex would provide up to $75,000. That's to pay for all costs. We're going to go through disconnect the water and sewer. I anticipate there might be some other elements of the project we need to do, air monitoring, of course, and then we'd be allowed to access their property. Second resolution is awarding both of the contracts, one to Dan's Hauling for $19,800 and two to Greater Environmental Resources for $25,000.
So I think it's worth noting that I feel like we have maintained a fairly, on par cost for demolition, not a huge building, but certainly on par with maybe what a standard house would be, and still around about 40 grand to demo, abate, and remove. So that's good. I feel like that's probably a function of competitive opportunity. We had 246, we had 6 contracting companies bid the abatement and 5 bid the demolition. And that's a far cry from, the early days of 1 or 2 companies, and quite a bit more. So, I appreciate the fact that we have that relationship, that we can do these abatements and these demolitions at efficient costs, and that those relationships exist that we can leverage. This really opens up this portion of the now Western Gateway for Schenectady, and allows for some additional development / enhancement to that area, which is clearly becoming, a point in which there's entertainment and parking, and the seat center is there, and hopefully Film Schenectady is going to grow there, and lots of other great things. So an eyesore goes away, our gateway is enhanced. I appreciate everyone's support. Can I get a motion to move it?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Bob. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
I
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Great. The resolution is passed.
Did you pass 2021, 23, and 21, 21, 24,
Let me do it officially. So that was 2021, 23. I appreciate the clarification. I need a motion now to move 2021-24, please.
So moved.
And a second.
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 Thank you. All those in favor indicate by saying aye as well.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay. That
You know, I would
project is
add
gonna get
that-
done.
I would add that, if you look at those bids, because of this competitive bidding process, you did save a significant amount of money. And I think that is a feather in our cap.
Absolutely, Bob. Great comment. And, thank you to our executive director, David. You continue to, make sure that people are on point. They know what's going on, and obviously it's paying off as it has been for a long time. But it's important that we're not just throwing money at something. It's another good project, like I said. I appreciate the conservation of funds. Okay, that is it for our agenda and our items that we needed to cover tonight. Is there any new business or any old business that we need to talk about first?
I'm just going to put this, I believe I hadn't had a chance to look through the resolution yet, but for the 133 Edison Avenue project that we are moving forward with. Right now, everything is moving forward as planned. We're not looking to enter title. If it does come back and a judge says we do have to enter title, I will come back to the board. The one thing I do want to bring to the board's attention is it was going to be an entity owned by Highbridge Plank called Red Hawk Holdings. They came back to us and instead are going to be using an entity called 133 Edison LLC. I believe the resolution did say, or an affiliated entity.
Yes, it did.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was identified in case it was missed. So I just wanted to include that. So thank you for listening to that.
So because it says affiliated, no action on our part, the resolution stands and has durability. Okay.
Great.
Great. Any other old business? Any new business?
Reminder that I believe that we have to have budgets for the state end of October, which means that we have to have a couple of committee meetings next month. We have to have a meeting next month.
Okay. David, I'll let you coordinate those committee meetings in preparation for budget. And I'm hoping to be able to give you some sense of what county and city contributions, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady contributions will be. I will reach out to the mayor of Amsterdam and ask that same question. While I recognize we have dollars, I want to capture and create enough support so that we have a significant amount of windshield in front of us still, and not kind of, winding it down. All right, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining. And I keep saying August, our September meeting. I apologize. And I look forward to seeing you all in person sooner than later. And if there's no other questions, I'm going to adjourn the meeting and tell you all have a great and safe evening.
Good night, all.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
everyone. Good
See you in a
night.
bit, Rich.
Bye-bye.
See ya.